second day of the opening test match at Trent Bridge began in splendid weather conditions. Plenty of sunshine around, not very much cloud cover, which would be disappointing for the England bowlers, John Snow and Mike Hendrick, who had the chance of taking the second new ball first thing this morning. 274 for 2 the West Indians were overnight. Vivian Richards 143, that brilliant innings yesterday. Kalacharan was 52. Well, Tony Greig gave both John Snow and Mike Hendrick a loosener, 1 over each, before he allowed Snow to take the second new ball, and here he is now, bowling to Vivian Richards. Derek Underwood. 2 to Viv Richards to take him on to 150. And there's another 4, and it's a great shot. Could have gone over the top, just made it over the rope. Bowled. Didn't quite get it in the meat of the bat, but it'll just beat Brian close into the boundary. Takes Vivian Richards now on to 164. The total to 308 for 2, which means the 200 partnership is on the board between Vivian Richards and Alvin Kalacharan. Tony Greig now bowling to Richards. Oh, great shot. Beautiful strength.
Solskjaer, nice piece of work in the field there, appealing and giving him out, but the umpire not agreeing with him. Roger Solskjaer, the keeper, well known of course for his great speed between the wickets, showing how quickly he can move in the field there. And the old head went up there from Richards, and wasn't very far away from bowling him. Chris Holt to Viv Richards. No need to run for that either. Big gap through mid-on, over pitch ball, and Richards all the way through this innings has scarcely missed a half volley. That's short, and that's walloped around there. Underwood, just a chance. No, he can't beat it. Well, didn't quite middle that as well as some of the others, but it still goes through for 4. And signs that there is little pace in it, looking at the position that Brian Close has taken up at slip. He's gone in almost to a second slip position there. One usually finds the slower the wicket, the squarer the slip can afford to go. On a quicker wicket, he would have to be much finer and much nearer the wicket-keeper with the ball coming off a lot more quickly than it will do on this one today. And that's not too far away. Just half a dozen inches away from Close's left hand. Chopped away, middle that a bit better this time. And the outfield, which has quickened up considerably today, doing its work, providing Kalacharan with another boundary there.
Lovely stance and good grip. Beautiful method all told. And when he attacks, Brian close. That would have been very near, a very near thing for Richards. He's gone past the 192 now. That's his highest score in Test cricket, but it must have been desperately close at the end, with Brian Close coming in fast. Oh, yes. I think there would have been a shout for that.
And umpire Spencer ready now for him to proceed. The first ball after lunch. Snow to Kelly to run. And that's a short loosener, and that's beaten David Steele. Well, I think Richards would have liked that one on 196, but Kelly Charan dealing with it very firmly, moving on to 89. Well, that's short, and that's it. Friendly offering on 196 there, my word, by John Snow. Pitched it halfway down. And a tremendous performance this by Vivian Richards. 200 in a test match on this ground, following in the footsteps of the great Frank Worrell and Basil Butcher before him. 28 fours, so many of them with that pull shot or that hook shot, which took him to 200. 2 sixes as well, and of course his first 200 in a test match. And that's another friendly offering, halfway down. He hit that even more powerfully in that big gap between mid-wicket and mid-on. And that's a half volley. And just look at the power and timing of this really master batsman. 2 great hook shots, a half volley driven through the gap between mid-off and the bowler. Kelly Charan, who's been his support, and good solid support throughout this long partnership. He's on 90 now. And he's swung Underwood away to deep square, want to get a single. And the challenge answered, and a terrific shot. 6 glorious runs, right over wide mid-off. Well, that's Viv Richards' third 6. Hit a tremendous shot yesterday off Derek Underwood. A very similar direction, that just a fraction straighter. And he's found it through the onside this time. Really another great shot, clipped away through mid-wicket. Runs absolutely flowing from his bat now. Just to show that every shot in the book is his, waited for it, delicate little late cut. And he takes 2 more. And in the middle of all that furore, the 400 has come up. And Richards has moved on now to 224. Shout for LBW, swinging across one, pitching, I would have thought, round about middle. But of course Derek Underwood has got to be able to straighten the ball up, bowling from that angle. And one doubts very much whether there's any spin at all in this wicket. That ball would obviously have gone on with the arm to miss the leg stump. And it's flicked away. No slip. Right, close, short third man having to run round to the field, and it's 2 more to Richards. He's down the pitch again, he's had a catch. No, it's over the top. Just clearing Mike Hendrick, not by very much, about a yard over the top, into the pavilion. See the footwork here, dancing down the pitch, full swing of the bat, a great follow through, hit low and hard, and just clearing Hendrick on the long on boundary. That's in there. It could be a catch this time. Gregg's there and he's made no mistake. Tosses it high. And Richards is out. Great mob there by the fielders. The first wicket to have fallen today at the end of a sparkling, a superb exhibition by this brilliant West Indian cricketer, Vivian Richards. Giving the bowler a chance in the end, looking for quick runs after he'd passed the double century, and caught by Tony Gregg, no bother at all on the long off boundary for a truly magnificent 232. And adding his name to the long list of great West Indian cricketers we've seen in this country since the war. Weeks, Worrell, Walcott, Sobers, Lloyd and now Richards. And one can only think we're going to see a lot more of him in the future. 4 sixes and 31 fours in a stay of just over 7 hours. Highest score of his career. And this is how he finally departed. Having hammered Underwood for 3 sixes, tries his luck again. And Tony Gregg stationing himself on that long off boundary, absolutely determined he wasn't going to drop that one. So that's the third West Indian wicket going down, the score on 408. And what a sight for English fielders as the big frame of Clive Lloyd wends his way out there. He's hoisted that over the top of mid-on. 1-2 bounces over the ropes, taking advantage of this close set field.
To Kallicharran. It's in the air, David Steele, and he's caught it. And what a disappointment for Kallicharran, and well done Underwood, who's bowled extremely well. A good ball that floated into the air, a little bit slower. Good piece of bowling and a good innings from Kallicharran, but disappointing that he should throw it away just by trying to reach the 100 with a boundary or one over the top. And for some reason best known to themselves, the ground authorities are allowing people to rush onto the field. Thought we'd got rid of that, annoying the batsman. The place for the spectators is back behind the ropes, and the place for the players is on the field. So Kallicharran comes off, having made 97 in 6 hours exactly, 8 boundaries, but only 3 fours today. He's been suffering a little shoulder trouble today. His batting hasn't been as free as usual, but his partnership with Vivian Richards was very, very good. So it is to be Bernard Julian coming out to bat. I don't think that came off the edge. There wasn't a movement from close or from the short leg. There was a shout, but I suspect it probably came from the hopeful bowler. David Steele, and there's no need to run for that. It's a magnificent blow. Oh, he really did pick that up well. David Steele saw very quickly that it was pointless looking anywhere but the marquee for that particular ball. And that could be out. Hendricks the man under it, and it's a good catch. And again, I wish those kids would keep off the field. That's most unnerving for the players. Just look at that. Clive Lloyd, the man dismissed, out for 16, and the total is 432 for 5. Here's how it happened. It was a full-blooded shot. Hendrick judged it pretty well. He was moving away to his left and had to go back, and he was cramped for room in the end. He caught it round about throat height. And he's given it, and no doubt there in Brian Close's mind, nor in Derek Underwood's, that Larry Gomes was out for naught. Inside edge, onto pad, a little bit of turn there. And 432 for 6. So here it is again. And see, it's a little bit of turn from Underwood, this time coming over the wicket to the left-hander, whereas he's been bowling mostly around the wicket. Inside edge, you can see straight off the edge there, onto the pad, and quite a simple catch to Brian Close. Well hit. Good stroke player, Bernard Julian, and he's in form. I saw him play some good innings in Australia, one in particular when he had a broken finger, and he really did carry the attack to the Australian bowlers.
He's gone for the big one, successfully middled it over the top of mid-wicket, and that ball racing away for 4. Bowled slightly slower, pitched a little bit further out by Greg, and Julian was onto it very quickly. That's nicely placed. Length forward allowed that to come on to him, so he could find the gap on the offside. And those 2 more runs to Bernard Julian brings up the 450 for his side. Another excellent crowd here today, and they've seen some really scintillating cricket. Flighted, swung away again through mid-wicket. That's going to beat David Steele quite comfortably.
458 for 6. And Chris Old bowling to Julian. And up goes Knott, uploading inside, and he's caught behind off the thinnest of tickles, straight to the wicketkeeper. And Alan Knott has taken his 200th Test match catch. So the 7th wicket goes down for 458, and England managing to some extent to restore the balance. At least West Indies are not running away like an express train. It's John Snow beginning what will be the last over before tea in the batsman Van Burn holder. And getting very close to that. Snow to holder. And that's out, caught by Knott as it did it carry. They go up in the slips, but it didn't carry. They're asking. And Tom Spencer says not out, and he doesn't bother to ask the square leg umpire either, so Tom Spencer must have been satisfied that it dropped in front of Alan Knott. The 2 English slips went up. So Tom Spencer could have been in no doubt at all from his angle, and he didn't bother to refer to Harold Bird square leg. Snow again, the batsman holder. Gives in the bouncer and he swings on it. And he gets it for 4 just behind square on the leg side. He played it very well. Plenty of time, this bowler holder, to get into position on this now docile pitch and to swing John Snow for 4.
Shot. But Steele has no chance of picking that up. And Close has caught it. Miscued hook shot. Not a particularly good delivery, but it's picked up John Snow's first wicket at a cost of 116, with Derek Murray not quite getting over the top of that hook shot. Brian Close taking his catch. For 81 for 8 then. Good lusty blow from Van Holder. Takes him now to 15. Ball him, and that's the 9th wicket down. Crishold, another success for him. He takes his 2nd wicket. And the man out is Andy Roberts. All the other 8 wickets have gone down. 2 catches, and Andy Roberts here is the first man to have his stump shattered by an England bowler. Perhaps a measure of just how good a pitch this is. Seemed almost to go through the centre of the bat. Youngest member of the touring party, only 20 years of age. He played 5 first-class matches before the tour. They come on pretty quickly in the West Indies. Well bowled by Crishold. Not quite good enough, but it's a maiden. Score stays at 488 for 9. Could easily been 488 all out. One almost got under Wayne Daniels' bat. Looked as though it would have hit round about the middle and leg. Good Yorker.
It's Daniel now facing old. And that's gone right between the 2 slips. Well, he couldn't have really placed it better. Bisecting 1st and 2nd slip there, away to Gregg's right, away to Hendrick's left. That's it, tossed high in the air, and a Knott's appeal answered by Harold Bird. West Indies all out. Daniel, the last one to go. Caught Knott, bowled Old to wind up a really excellent spell there from Yorkshireman Crishold.
494, well, that's a daunting total for the England batsman and the captain, Tony Gregg. Magnificent innings, Vivian Richards, 232. Kallicharran, pretty slow today, but a valuable partnership with Richards. I understand he had some shoulder trouble today that was restricting his stroke play. And the other batsmen losing their wickets in the chase for runs. Lloyd, 16, Julian, 21, Murray, 19, and Holder, 19, not out. Best of the England bowlers in the pace department, I thought, was Crishold. He deserved those 3 wickets for 80, 34.3 overs. And Derek Underwood, who I thought was sadly underused on the first day, came up today and picked up 4 wickets, and I thought he bowled very intelligently indeed. Well, the England batsman, because of bad light, had to face only 1 over, though. A little bit lucky there. Everything was running right for Clive Lloyd. The innings finished just about the right time. It looked as though he'd have a chance for Roberts and Daniel and Julian and the other medium pacers to have a go at the England batsman. In fact, just the 1 over from Andy Roberts. A fiery one, and one that showed that he's 2 or 3 yards quicker than anything England can provide. But John Edridge managed to survive it. He and Brearley were the 2 men who came out for England for that 3-minute spell right at the very end of the day. Now, England have a very, very difficult task over the remaining 3 days of this game. They can't win the game. I think that's settled now in the sense that they kept West Indies from scoring too quickly today. It was a pretty good effort from Tony Gregg and the bowlers and the fieldsmen to fight back in that way, but they have got a tremendous rearguard fight on their hands. Their batsmen have to bat for 3 days, spanning 2 innings, and it's not going to be easy. The saving grace for them, I think, is that there's not a spinner in the West Indian side. An all-pace attack, although that'll be difficult to face, people like Roberts and Daniel very fast, no spinner, and I think the West Indians may well regret by the end of this Test match that they went in with an all-pace attack.